chemistry, and dentists? Watch Worlds Collide, the new hit feature by these wonderful people. And remember, enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Angel and I work here at Stotts Dental, and we're gonna take impressions for Noel, our little patients here. We're gonna take alternate impressions and we're sizing trays. So I'm gonna see what trays fit for her. Let's see. Okay. Relax. And that's fine. Okay, you don't have to bite down. And what we do with this, the alternate impressions, the alternate is in a powder form. So once we mix it with water, and it's in a ratio for every 2 scoops is 2 lines of water. I'll show you how to make sure that. And once we mix it, it will go from a powder form into a solid form, and it will get the impression of the teeth. It's like a sample, a replica of her teeth.
Alginates. Alginates are formed of an algae from the brown algae class, and it's normally found along the West Coast region in which we live. Alginate polymerization is the formation of the bonds that give the molds their shape. This process is better known as gelation. In this gelation process, there are loose ends on both sides of a twisted polymer structure. As they get tied to one another and form a larger, more cohesive network, water is trapped between the polymers. Now, the main difference between an alginate and a colloid is that in a colloid you have a particulate and a suspension. A particulate, being a powder substance suspended in a water or some other liquid, will form a colloid as long as the particulate does not settle. Now, the difference between an alginate and a regular colloid is an alginate is what we call an irreversible hydrocolloid. And in an irreversible hydrocolloid, the polymer structures that are formed trap water in between the bonds as seen on the screen. The powder contains sodium alginate, calcium sulfate, trisodium phosphate, diatomaceous earth, zion oxide, and potassium titanium fluoride. Upon mixing this powder with water, a solid is formed. The chemical reaction taking place involves sodium alginate reacting with calcium sulfate, both replacing the sulfate and alginate respectively. This results in sodium sulfate and calcium alginate. This reaction occurs too quickly during mixing or loading of the impression tray, and then is slowed down by trisodium phosphate and other dilutants in the mixture.
Okay, alginate. So it's two scoops. And this is our kind of like a cup, measuring cup to measure for every 1 scoop is 1 line of water. So we put 2 scoops of powder, 2 scoops of water. We're going to take the bottom one. So I throw the water inside. And I have to be fast with this.
Dental varnish. Fluoride varnish is used hand in hand with regular old toothpaste to help strengthen and protect the enamel. It includes a resin, a glazing agent, and finally the sodium fluoride solution that gives it its name. Let's move on. The first step is the resin. The resin is hydrophilic and attaches to the saliva in your mouth, spreading the solution around equally. The second compound is a glazing agent that prevents water loss. Think of it as a layer of clay in front of your tooth that helps water to stay in. Lastly, we have the sodium fluoride itself. It's an ionic compound and separates into sodium and fluoride individually when it comes into contact with strong polar water molecules, which were brought to it in the first place by the resin mentioned earlier. The fluoride blends in and adds to the calcified surface, and the fluoride is absorbed by the biofilm and helps kill bacteria. Thanks for watching, everybody, and letting our group show you how chemistry is utilized within the community. Hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in class. Here's our bibliography. It's nice.